आरोग्यम धनसंपदा शत्रबुद्धि विनाशाय दीपक ज्योति नमस्तुते. This is the prayer of health, wealth, and deconstruction negative force. I humbly request our chief guest of honor, and all the dignitaries on the dais to kindly step forward and light the lamp. Thank you, dignitaries. You may please take your seats. To set the context of today's gathering and formal welcome of our audience, we have an opening address. Now, inviting Dr. M.R. Vaikar to deliver an opening remark and give a brief overview of our department and Neem Karoli Baba Charitable Trust, Kolhapur. Please, sir.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Respected dignitaries on the dais, esteemed Chief Guest Professor Rajendra Nerli, our distinguished guest of honor, Mr. Arun Aradhi, President of this function, Head of the Department, Professor R.G. Sonkode, faculty members, students, and all guests present here today. A very warm welcome to all of you for this crucial guest lecture on urinary stone disease and its precautionary measures. Before we dive into today's highly anticipated session, I would like to take a few moments to reflect on the journey and the foundational vision of the co-organizer of today's event, the Neem Karoli Baba Charitable Trust, Kolhapur. Guided by the philosophy of selfless service and deep-rooted commitment to social welfare, the trust has been working tirelessly at the intersection of education, health, and community empowerment. We firmly believe that a healthy, educated, and strongly motivated youth is ultimate architect of a developed India. Over the past few months, the Trust, in fruitful association with the Department of Physics at Shiva University, has pioneered a series of high-impact activities. In the realm of healthcare and well-being, in this year, on March 24, we organized a mega health checkup and blood camp donation with witnessed an overwhelming response with over 1,000 citizens and student participating. Alongside free comprehensive medical screening, we distributed free medications and spectrums and successfully donated 55 units of blood to the Shahu Blood Bank at CPR Hospital. Just recently, on July 17, we hosted a Dr. Vidhavar Patil's lecture for a session on the application of physics in medical sciences, where the Trust specially facilitated a segment for the student to receive free personalized medical guidance for their health concerns. And today, we continue this healthcare mission with Professor Dr. Nerli's expert guidance on urinary stone prevention. In the realm of academic and career empowerment, we had the distinct honor of co-organizing an extraordinary session with the legendary physicist and Padma Shri awardee, Professor S.C. Verma. The Trust proudly supported the segment focused on empowering our students to secure research seat at premium institutes like IITs, IISCs, and TIFR, and to aim for further international physics Olympiad. On July 18, we invited Dr. Jasmine, IAS, to provide our youth with actionable strategic guidance on cracking the UPSC and other competitive exams. Our vision extended beyond the university campus. I am incredibly proud to highlight the Trust's recent development work in the Latur district. Recognizing that Solapur and Latur district regions suffer from critically low rainfall, we have actively addressed fundamental community needs by providing reliable access to drinking water. Alongside this, we have undertaken extensive tree plantation drives to ensure a greener, more sustainable future for these areas. As we look to the future, I am thrilled to announce that the Neem Koroli Baba Charitable Trust is entering into the societal collaboration with the Zilla Parishad, Kolhapur. We are planning to adopt 5 villages to implement comprehensive development programs and diverse community activities. Furthermore, as a part of our unwavering commitment to education, we will soon be distributing notebooks and school bags to 1,000 students across ZP schools. Alongside this distribution, we will be launching science awareness program across many of these schools, ensuring that young learners have both the physical tools and the intellectual inspiration they need to be succeed. None of this milestone would have been possible without the unwavering support of our community pillars. At this juncture, I want to specially acknowledge and express our deepest gratitude to our guest of honor, Mr. Arun Aradhe, Managing Director of Melonberry Limited. Mr. Aradhe has been steadfast supporter of the Trust vision, from his vital backing during our Mega Health Camp to his gracious presence here today. His commitment to bridging Kolhapur's industrial sector with community welfare is truly inspiring. Thank you, sir, for your continuous encouragement in believing in our cause. As we move forward, the Neem Koroli Baba Charitable Trust remains deeply committed to implementing much more constructive, society-oriented programs. Thank you all of your presence, your support, and your shared dedication to building better and healthier society. Thank you all of you. Hand over to Anchor.
Thank you so much, Dr. Vaikar sir, for setting a perfect tone for today's session. संस्कृतमध्ये एक अतिशय सुंदर सुभाषित आहे, आरोग्यम धनसंपदा. Today we have gathered here to focus on protecting a very well and discuss wide health issue, urinary stone disease and preventionary measures. It is an absolute honor to introduce our speaker, Dr. Rajendra Nerli, a highly accomplished medical professional. Dr. Nerli holds an impressive era of qualification including MS, MCH, PhD and an MBA. He currently serves as the Director of Clinical Services at KLES Dr. Prabhakar Kore Hospital and Medical Research Center, the Director of KLES Kidney Foundation, and the Professor and the Head of Department of Urology at JN Medical College, Belagavi, India. An estimated academic clinician, he is also served as visiting professor at the University of Minnesota in USA. Throughout his career, Dr. Nerli has been recognized with numerous accolades, including the Precious Karnataka Rajyotsava Award in 2010 and Dr. P. Venkatesh Rao Gold Medal on Orishas for 2011. Beyond his academic record of over 200 peer-reviewed publications, he is a healthcare pioneer in his region, having established the first mobile services in northern Karnataka in 2002, as well as the first renal transplantation unit at KLES Dr. Prabhakar Kore Hospital. Please join me in welcoming a visionary leader in the field of urinary
We are equally privileged to introduce our guest of the honor, Mr. Arun Aradhe, a distinguished senior corporate leader, finance and banking experts, and industrial strategist whose remarkable career spans over 50 years. Mr. Aradde has the cultivate found expertise across finance, banking, production, marketing, and human resources. He currently drives the organizational success as the Managing Director of Menon Brink Ltd and Menon Alcock Ltd, while simultaneously serving as a director for numerous other enterprises, including Menon Breaks PVT Ltd and Tiger Resort PVT Ltd. His extensive professional background features key corporate and finance leadership roles at prominent organizations like Ghadge Patil Industries, MSRTC, and Garvarewal Drops, alongside notable institutional leadership as the ex-president of Mahalakshmi Cooperative Bank Ltd and the Lion Club, Rajarampuri. A true visionary with a rich entrepreneurial spirit that spans drives the manufacturing, distribution, and the service sector. Please join me in extending a warm welcome to Mr. Arun Aradde. किसी भी शुभ कार्य की शुरुआत सम्मान और सत्कार से होती है। इन्हीं पंक्तियों के साथ मैं स्वागत की ओर बढ़ना चाहूंगी। फूलों की महकती खुशबू से महफिल को सजाने आए हैं। हम अपने इन खास मेहमानों का तहे दिल से स्वागत करने आए हैं। In line with our rich tradition, I now invite our President
पुढच्या वेळी बघू आणखी एखादा कार्यक्रम चांगला ज्यावेळी असेल त्यावेळी आणखी चांगल्या 4 गोष्टी सांगायला आम्हाला नक्की आनंद होईल, शेअर करायला आनंद होईल। हे सांगतो त्यावेळेला काही जण मगाशी बघत होतो, काही जण मोबाईलमध्ये व्यस्त आहेत, अजून मोबाईल बघत राहतात। इथे जे काय चाललेलं आहे त्याच्याकडे कितपत लक्ष द्यायला पाहिजे हे प्रत्येकाने ठरवावं। आता काही गोष्टी मी अशा सांगणार आहे की स्वतःच्या अनुभवावरून सांगतो। आम्ही ज्या वेळेला इंटरव्ह्यू घेत असतो लोकांचे, खूप लोकांनी घेतले, आतापर्यंत हजारो लोकांनी घेतले असतील, फ्रेशर्स असतील, MBA असतील, इंजिनियर असतील, M.Com झालेले असतील, BTech, त्यांचं ज्या वेळेला मी नॉन टेक्निकल माणूस असून सुद्धा इंटरव्ह्यू ज्यावेळेला घेतो, कारण मी इंजिनिअरिंग बॅकग्राऊंड मला बऱ्यापैकी आहे, बऱ्याच इंडस्ट्रीजमध्ये काम केलेलं असल्यामुळं मॅन्युफॅक्चरिंग प्रोसेसेस वगैरे सगळ्यामध्ये चांगला हँड्स ऑन एक्सपिरियन्स माझा असल्यामुळे मी तो इंटरव्ह्यू घेऊ शकतो. ते घेत असताना असं लक्षात आलं की ते पास व्हायसाठी फक्त अभ्यास करतात. व्हेरी अनफॉर्च्युनेट. हा जो अभ्यास आहे आम्हाला 1972 साली मी जे शिकलेलो आहे ते आत्ता सुद्धा मला पाठ. मी जवळजवळ 20 ते 25 वर्ष शिकवत होतो, अजूनही शिकतो आहे. दिस इज ए कंटिन्युअस प्रोसेस, ही कधीही थांबू शकत नाही. तर हे करत असताना त्यावेळेचं आमचं जे पाठांतर असेल, मी तुम्हाला सांगायला हरकत नाही, मी ज्यावेळेला युनिव्हर्सिटीमधनं पास झालो, M.Com झालो, TDCA झालो, CAचं झालं. मी इथं नसताना, बाहेर गावी असताना, 2 मुलं असताना मी हे सगळं केलं आणि त्याचं खरंच हे आमच्या वडिलांना जातं, त्याने मला ते करायला हवं. पण ते करत असताना मी जे शिकलो, फक्त परीक्षेच्या दिवशी मी गावाहून यायचो आणि इथं परीक्षेला हजर व्हायचो. एरवी कधी रजा घेतली नाही, काम सोडून मी काही बघितले नाही, आत्तापर्यंत नाही, अजून बघत नाही. मी एकही दिवस सुट्टी घेत नाही. मला सांगायचं काय, डेडिकेशन हे सगळ्यात महत्त्वाचं आहे. आणि हे करत असताना तुम्ही जे अभ्यास करता, ते जे शिक्षण घेता, त्याची पूर्ण माहिती घ्या. त्याचा उपयोग पुढे काय होणार आहे हे लक्षात घ्या. पास झालो, परीक्षा झाली आणि वर्षभरात मी विसरून गेलो, पुढे काय उपयोग होत नाही. एखादा 80% मार्क पडलेला विद्यार्थी जर असेल आणि दुसरा 60% पडलेला विद्यार्थी जर असेल, तर त्यामध्ये 60% वाला ज्याला बाहेरचं ट्रेनिंग घेतलेलं आहे, नवीन टेक्नॉलॉजी त्याने अडॉप्ट केलेली आहे, जगाची माहिती आहे, जनरल नॉलेज आहे, AI असू दे काय असू दे, त्यांना माहिती घेतलेली आहे, इंडस्ट्रियल ट्रेनिंग घेतलेलं आहे, ऑन द जॉब ट्रेनिंग घेतलेला आहे, तो 80%पेक्षा 60% वाला पुढे जाऊ शकतो आणि त्याचं करिअर फार महत्त्वाचं असतं. तर सांगायचा उद्देश काय की जो अभ्यास करणार तो पास होण्यासाठी न करता त्या अभ्यासाचं पूर्णपणे आकलन करून, त्याचा अभ्यास करून आणि त्याचं खरोखरीच आपल्याला माहिती मिळाली आहे का नाही याची खात्री करून तुम्ही पुढे जावं. आणि त्या दृष्टीनं मी एक नोट छोटीशी तयार केलेली आहे. आणखी जर लोक जास्त असतील तर मी मोठी 2 नोट्स आणल्यात. मी ऑडियन्स किती आहे बघून ठरवणार होतो. जर मोठा ऑडियन्स असतं तर माझ्याकडे मोठी नोट होती. आता ऑडियन्स बघून मी तुमचा जास्त वेळ नाही घेणार, पण ह्यातनं तुम्हाला काय बोध घ्यायचा असेल तर चांगला आहे. आणि एक जाता गोष्ट सांगतो, म्हणजे चालू करण्यापूर्वीच माझं संभाषण, की कुठल्याही परिस्थितीत मार्क कमी पडले म्हणून कोणी निराश होऊ नका. तुमच्या आई वडिलांनी तुमच्यावर जे संस्कार केले, तुमच्या पाठीशी उभा राहतात, दिवस रात्र काम करून तुमची फी वागवणे, तुमचं सगळं शिक्षणाचा खर्च सांभाळणे, हे करत असताना तुम्ही मन लावून अभ्यास करा. कशामुळे जर कमी पडले तर निराश होऊ नका, डिप्रेशनमध्ये कधीही जाऊ नका. तुम्ही तुमच्या अभ्यासावर कॉन्सन्ट्रेट करत राहा आणि नवीन नवीन शिक्षा पद्धती जी असेल ती आत्मसात करायचा प्रयत्न करा. आता ह्या दृष्टीनं ह्या बॅकग्राऊंडवर मी एक छोटीशी नोट तयार केलेली आहे, मी तुम्हाला वाचून दाखवतो. It is privilege to address this gathering of young minds who are preparing to shape the future of our. Today, students have the opportunity to pursue higher education in a wide variety of disciplines like engineering, medicine, law, commerce, management, arts, agriculture, computer science, and many more. Each of these fields offers tremendous opportunities. However, one question remains common to all. Is education alone enough to build successful career? My answer is definitely no, and the background what I have already told. A degree may open the door, but practical knowledge, skills and attitude determine how far you will go ahead. Today, employers are not only looking for graduates with high marks. They seek individuals who can solve problems, communicate effectively, work in teams, adapt to change, and apply their knowledge in real life. आणि त्या सिच्युएशनला पुढे जाता यायला पाहिजे. अशा प्रकारचं नॉलेज तुम्ही घेणं आवश्यक आहे. लेट मी शेअर सिम्पल एक्झाम्पल. आता तुम्हाला जे मार्काचं जे सांगितलं तेच एक्झाम्पल मी इथं दिलेलं आहे. इमॅजिन 2 इंजिनिअरिंग ग्रॅज्युएट्स. One has scored excellent marks but has never visited a manufacturing plant or any service-oriented plant or worked on a real project. The other has average marks but has completed internship, participated in technical competition, and understands how machines operate in industry. Which student is likely to be selected? तुम्हाला काय वाटतं? कोण सिलेक्ट व्हायला पाहिजे? बोला की. The second student has a significant advantage because practical exposure builds confidence and competence. मी डॉक्टर साहेबांना किंवा मागच्या वेळी ज्यावेळी आपला कार्यक्रम झाला अतिशय चांगला होता, लोक पण खूप होते, कलेक्टर साहेब पण होते, त्यावेळी सांगितलेलं होतं की युनिव्हर्सिटीने इथे वेगवेगळ्या इंडस्ट्रीज कोल्हापूरच्या ज्या काय लिमिटेड असतील त्यांच्याबरोबर टायअप करून विद्यार्थ्यांना फक्त क्लासरूम शिक्षण एज्युकेशन न देता त्यांना ठराविक पिरियड त्यांच्या कालावधीतला हा प्रॅक्टिकल ट्रेनिंगसाठी म्हणून कोणाची तरी टायअप करून त्यांना ते मेंडेटरी करा आणि त्याचे मार्क त्याच्यामध्ये त्यांनी ते ॲड करा. आणि त्या दृष्टीनं आज काय आहे, सगळ्यात तुमच्या माहितीसाठी सांगतो, जगात सगळ्यात जास्त यंग मॅन पॉवर जी म्हणतात ती इंडियामध्ये आहे. त्याच्या खालोखाल चायना आहे. पण परिस्थिती काय आहे, स्किल्ड मॅन पॉवर. आणि वेअर वी आर लाईक ही स्किल्ड मॅन पॉवर तुम्हाला जर करायची असेल तर practical training should be imparted to the students by the universities instead of focusing only on classroom training. So that is very important. आज AI सारख्या बाबतीत शिवाजी युनिव्हर्सिटीने काय केले मला माहिती नाही आहे, सोनकोडे साहेब आपल्याला सांगतील, कारण हे फ्युचर चॅलेंज आहे. याच्यामुळे बऱ्याच गोष्टी सोप्या होणार आहेत, पण त्याच वेळेला सगळं काही AI-मुळे होत नाही. काही गोष्टी या माणसाला स्वतःच कराव्या लागणार. पण त्याच वेळी नवीन मेथडॉलॉजी टेक्निक जे आलेलं आहे त्यासाठी त्यांनी वॉर फुटिंगवर एखादा प्रोग्राम तयार करून केलं पण असेल का. शिकतात पण त्यांना शिकायसाठी येतात. शिकलेली माणसं मिळत नाही, ती दुर्दैव आहे. टाइम अँड अगेन आहे ते. प्रॅक्टिकल ट्रेनिंग शुड बी इम्पॉर्टंट टू द स्टुडंट्स. नाहीतर त्यांचं करिअर ज्या प्रमाणात आपल्याला डेव्हलप व्हायला पाहिजे ते होत नाही आहे. आपल्या इकडच्या भागातलं, ग्रामीण भागातलं असू दे, कोल्हापूर, वी कॅनॉट से दॅट इज टोटली अर्बन, बट वी कॅन कॉल इट एज अ सेमी अर्बन. तर इथं भरपूर स्कोप आहे मुलांना शिक्षण द्यायला आणि त्यांना पुढे यायला, आणि इथं मग इंडस्ट्री डेव्हलप होऊ शकते. त्यासाठी मॅन पॉवर स्किल तुम्ही तयार करा म्हणजे तुम्ही पण त्यात लक्ष देऊन तुम्ही पण तयार होणं आवश्यक आहे. Therefore, I encourage every student to make practical learning an essential part of university life. There are several ways to achieve this. Participate in internship and industrial training, work on live projects and case studies, develop communication and presentation skills. आज पॉवर पॉईंट कोणाला येतं काय नाही, तर कॉम्प्युटरमध्ये कितपत पुढे घेतलेले आहे, त्यांचं नॉलेज ॲप्लिकेशन किती आहे ते सुद्धा टेस्ट करायला हरकत नाही. त्याचा एक सेक्शन पाहिजे, त्याला पण काय तर मार्क असावेत. पॉवर पॉईंट प्रेझेंटेशन हे आजकाल अत्यावश्यक झाले. कुठल्याही क्षेत्रात जा, टेक्निकल असू दे किंवा कंपनीमध्ये जाऊ दे. मी एवढी जरी असलो तरी अमेरिकेला आणि कॅनडा मागच्या महिन्यात जाऊन आलो. पॉवर पॉईंट मला जर येत नसतील तर अवघड आहे. ते प्रेझेंटेशन स्किल पण पाहिजे. नुसतं प्रेझेंटेशन तयार करून दिलं ऑफिसमध्ये कोणी तर तुमच्यासारख्या लोकांनी, तुम्ही त्या बाबतीत हुशार असता. इकडनं तिकडनं गोळा करून प्रेझेंटेशन मस्त तयार करतात, पण हाऊ दॅट शुड बी प्रेझेंटेड, दॅट इज ऑल्सो द स्किल. नुसतं आपलं त्याच्यावर प्रेझेंटेशनमध्ये एक एक स्लाईड दाखवले आणि संपलं असं होत नाही. हाऊ इफेक्टिव्ह दॅट शुड बी, दॅट इज व्हेरी इम्पॉर्टंट. लर्न डिजिटल टूल्स to your profession. Building leadership qualities by participating in clubs and student organizations. आज किती लोक ज्याच्यामध्ये ग्रुप डिस्कशन्स वगैरे होतात ते मला माहिती नाही. ग्रुप डायनामिक्स आहे का आपल्याकडे सब्जेक्ट आहे सर? ग्रुप डिस्कशन. सो मला आनंद होईल एखादं ग्रुप डिस्कशन असेल त्यावेळी डॉक्टर साहेबांनी आम्हाला बोलावं आणि वी विल रादर वुड लाईक टू टेस्ट द ॲबिलिटी ऑफ द पीपल, हाऊ दे कॅन एक्सप्रेस, how they react to the questions. बघा तुम्ही असं बाहेर आलं तर त्यांना पण एक्सपोजर मिळेल लोकांना. इम्प्रूव्ह युअर इंग्लिश व्हाईल ऑल्सो कम्युनिकेटिंग इफेक्टिव्हली इन युअर मदर टंग. आता जसं मी म्हणतोय इंग्लिशमध्ये पण बोलतोय, मराठीमध्ये पण सांगायचा प्रयत्न करतोय. तुमची स्वतःच्या भाषेवर तर कमांड पाहिजेच पाहिजे. आणि असं म्हणतात आपल्या मातृभाषेमध्ये जर आपण शिकत असू तर आपल्याला ग्रास्प लवकर होतं. आपण ज्या लँग्वेजमध्ये विचार करतो, कुठल्याही जगाला आई म्हणजे मराठीत विचार करतो, ज्या लँग्वेजमध्ये आपण विचार करतो त्या लँग्वेजमध्ये शिकणं जास्त सोपं आणि ग्रास्पिंग फार लवकर होतं. पण त्याचबरोबर इंग्लिश भाषेशिवाय आपल्याला पर्याय नाही. वी शुड नॉट हेट दॅट लँग्वेज ऑल्सो. दॅट इज ग्लोबल लँग्वेज. वी हॅव टू लर्न अँड वी शुड हॅव मास्टरी ऑन इंग्लिश ॲज वेल. Stay updated and developments in your field by reading books, journals and industry publications. Network with professionals, alumni and mentors. थोडं लागते का सर? नाही संपत आलंय. Another important aspect is continuous learning. The world is changing faster than ever before. Technologies that are new today may become outdated or obsolete within few days. आता परिस्थिती कशी आहे? Therefore, learning should never stop after graduation. The most successful professionals are lifelong learners who continuously upgrade their knowledge and skills. आता मी ज्यावेळी CA इंटरमिडिएट झालं, MCOM झालं, LLB झालं, PDCM झालं, आता मी फायनान्समध्ये PhD करायच्या विचारात आहे. माझं वय आता 71 आहे, तरी सुद्धा मी PhD साठी अभ्यास करायला प्रयत्न करतो. सो कंटिन्युअस लर्निंग. आणि तुम्ही जोपर्यंत ऑक्युपाईड आहात तोपर्यंत तुमची तब्येत चांगली राहील. मी जर 60व्या वर्षी नेहमीप्रमाणे घरी बसलो रिटायर होऊन, तर मी 70व्या वर्षी आतापर्यंत काठी टेकत चालू असतो. पण आता तुम्ही जेवढे यंग आहात, तुम्ही जेवढ्या फास्ट चालू शकता किंवा पळू शकता त्या स्पीडनं मी पण चालू शकतो. जस्ट बिकॉज आय एम एंगेज माय सेल्फ अँड आय एम ऑलवेज बिझी. मे बी आय कॅन पुट माय एक्झाम्पल ॲज अन एक्झाम्पलरी example. During last 3 years, I have not taken a single day leave. I have been working more than 3 years continuously without a break, without off, without leave, or without anything. So what message I want to give to you is that you should always be thoroughly occupied. बाकीच्या कुठल्या गोष्टीत मन न रमवता नवीन अभ्यास करा, नवीन शिका, नवीन टेक्नॉलॉजीमध्ये लक्ष घाला आणि शिकत राहा. तुमचा वेळ वाया घालवू नका. वाया घालवायला भरपूर आहे. PVR आहे, सिनेमा आहे, तुमचे मोबाईल तर आहेत आणि इंस्टाग्राम आहे, फेसबुक आहे. त्याच्यामध्ये काही तुम्हाला शिकायला मिळत नाही. ठराविक लोक इन्फ्लुएन्सर असतात, त्यांच्या मनाप्रमाणे तुम्हाला शिकवत असतात आणि त्याप्रमाणे तुम्हाला गाईड करत असतात. तर यू शुड हॅव युअर ओन परसेप्शन. स्वतःचं म्हणणं काय, स्वतः आपण काय शिकतो, काय वाचतो ह्याच्यावरनं आपलं मत ठरवा. त्याच्यावर जाऊ नका आणि त्याच्यात जास्त लक्ष घालण्यामध्ये मॉडरेट घालायला हरकत नाही, थोडा वेळ घालवायला, पण अभ्यासात जास्त वेळ घालवा असं माझं म्हणणं. Equally important is character and ethics. Character in the sense, employees value honesty, discipline, punctuality, integrity and positive attitude. बऱ्याच वेळा गोष्टीकडे लोकांचा बघण्याचा उद्देश हे नाही, असं होत नाही, हे असं होणार नाही, ते तसं होणार नाही, असं न करता हे कसं करता येईल हा पॉझिटिव्ह ॲटिट्यूड ठेवा. बऱ्याच लोकांचा बघितलं आणि निगेटिव्ह ॲटिट्यूड असणारी माणसं कधीही सक्सेसफुल होऊ शकत नाही. कारण त्यांना हेच नसतं, विजनच नसतं. त्यांना प्रत्येक गोष्टीत कसं होणार नाही आणि का होणार नाही ह्याच्यावर ते चरण करत बसतात आणि दे डू नॉट अचीव एनिथिंग इन देअर लाईफ. सो बी ऑलवेज पॉझिटिव्ह. पॉझिटिव्ह ॲटिट्यूड ठेवा, सगळं चांगलं होईल. Remember, your career is not built only in classrooms. It is built through curiosity, hard work, discipline, practical experience, and the willingness to learn from every opportunity. मी त्याचं उदाहरण देतो, तुम्ही थोडा वेळ देतो, माफ करा. हे का म्हणतो तुम्हाला हे सांगितलं, क्युरिओसिटी पाहिजे. ज्यावेळी मी एक मार्च महिन्यामध्ये MD झालो, त्याच वेळेला रॉ मटेरियलच्या किमती प्रचंड आणि भयानक वाढलेल्या होत्या. कॉपर वाढलं, स्टील वाढलं, टीन वाढलं, लेड वाढलं, एवढं वाढलं की ते कस्टमरला पास ऑन करणं लगेच सोपं नसतं. त्यावेळी आता म्हटलं हे कसं करायचं. महिन्याचा इम्पॅक्ट जवळजवळ 1,20,00,000 होता. सो दॅट इज व्हेरी ह्यूज. मग मी डोळ्यासमोर सबंध मशीन शॉप, आपले प्रोसेस, कॉन्ट्री प्रोसेस, मशीन शॉप सगळी डोळ्यासमोर आणली. डोळ्यासमोर आणल्यानंतर लक्षात आलं की आपलं स्क्रॅप जनरेशन किती होतं, ते पर्सेंटेज कसं कमी करता येईल. तर आमच्याकडे एक सेंटरिंग स्ट्रीप असते, स्टील असतं, त्याच्यावर कॉपर टिंबेची पावडर घालतात आणि ती फर्नेसमधून फर्नेससारखं असतं, अशी ओव्हनसारखं असतं, त्याच्यातून पास नव्हती. ते पुढं जाते. BFC म्हणजे फॉर्मिंग आणि कॉइलिंग असं जे आपण करतो, त्याच्यात ती स्ट्रीप अशी त्याच्यावर ठेवलेली असते आणि ती पास ऑन होती आणि त्याच्यात ब्लँकिंग, फॉर्मिंग, कायलिंग होतं. आणि त्याची शेवटचा जो तुकडा राहतो, जो जवळजवळ 2 ते 3 मीटरचा राहतो, तो तसाच पडून जायचा, कारण पुढे तो जात नव्हता, स्क्रॅप व्हायचा. मी म्हटलं असं महिन्याला किती मीटर होतं स्क्रॅप, म्हणजे आपण किती मीटर स्टील तयार करतो. तर जवळजवळ 8,000 मीटर. 8,000 मीटर म्हणजे किती तुमची स्टील फुकट गेल्या. तर म्हटलं ह्याच्यावर जी पावडर तुम्ही स्प्रेड करता शेवटच्या पोर्शनवर 1 मीटरवर, ती केली नाही तर किती वाचतील आपल्या मीटर. तर त्याच्यावरून कॅल्क्युलेशन केलं आणि ते ताबडतोब बंद करायला लावलं, त्याच्यावर स्प्रे करायला. ते स्क्रॅपमध्ये जात होतं. त्याच्यामधनं फक्त 40 लाख रुपये महिन्याला मिळत. फक्त व्हिज्युअलायझेशन. हे कशामुळे म्हणते, क्युरिओसिटी. क्युरिओसिटी पाहिजे. त्यानंतर स्लिटिंग, एक मोठी स्ट्रीप आहे, त्याला बेरिंग आपल्याला किंवा बुश वॉशर काय असतील ते एका रिबनमधनं 3 होऊ शकतात. तर 3च्या जागी एका रिबनमध्ये वॉशर करायला गेलं, छोटा असेल तर बाकीची बाजू असते ती फुकट जायची. ती म्हटलं डाय अशी तयार करा की ते उरलेले आहेत त्याच्यामधनं सुद्धा डायमधनं आपल्याला उरलेले 2 पण काढता येतील. बसतात का? बसतात. लाख वाचवू शकत होतो ते चालू केले आणि उरलेले 3 महिन्याचं आमचं ॲग्रीमेंट असतं, त्या 3 महिन्यानंतर आपण पास ऑन करू शकतो बर्डन, तोपर्यंत सर्टिन करावं लागतं, कमी झालं तर आम्हाला फायदा होतो. तर ह्या गोष्टी एक सांगायचं काय, क्युरियासिटी, ती क्युरियासिटी पाहिजे, माइंड ऑब्झर्वेशन पाहिजे आणि त्यातून तुम्हाला लगेच सुचायला पाहिजे काय करायला पाहिजे. तर यासाठी क्युरियासिटी फार महत्त्वाची आहे. As student, do not ask yourself only how can I pass the examination. Instead, ask how can I become capable of solving real world problems. प्रत्यक्षात जगात आपल्याला पुढे जाऊन आपल्याला प्रॉब्लेम कसे सॉल्व्ह करायचे त्या दृष्टीने अभ्यास करा, फक्त पास व्हायसाठी. That change in mindset can transform your future entirely. In conclusion, I would like to leave you with simple message. Earn your degree, but also earn your skill. Learn the theory, but master the practice. Build knowledge, develop character, and never stop learning. If you do this consistently, success will not merely be a matter of luck. It will be the natural outcome of your preparation and dedication. आता त्याच्यामध्ये अब्दुल कलामनी एक चांगलं सेंटेन्स सांगितलेलं होतं, ते वाचतो आणि मी शेवटचं वाक्य घेऊन संपवतो. ड्रीम इज नॉट दॅट विच यू कॅन सी व्हाईल स्लीपिंग. इट इज समथिंग दॅट डज नॉट लेट यू स्लीप. खरोखरच महत्त्वाचं, साधं आहे पण फार महत्त्वाचं आहे. नुसतं स्वप्न बघत झोपू नका, तुम्हाला झोप न लागण्याची स्वप्न पडायला पाहिजे आणि ती चांगली करणं असायला पाहिजे. चांगली आहे, स्वप्न खूप चांगली पडू शकतात पण करिअरच्या दृष्टीने पडायला पाहिजे. सो आय विश each one of you a brighter future, a rewarding career and a meaningful life. Thank you very much and wishing you all very best, and thank you all the dignitaries on the dais and you all faculty members and comparators. Thank you very much.
थँक्यू मिस्टर अरुण आराध्य सर. आपले विचार आणि मार्गदर्शन आमच्यासाठी नक्कीच उपयोगाचे आहेत. नाव मूव्हिंग टू द सेंट्रल हायलाइट ऑफ टुडेज इव्हेंट, prevention and early invention and essential when managing urinary stone disease. We could not have a better authority to guide us today. I humbly invite our chief guest, Professor Rajendra Nerli sir, to say keynotes addressing our audience. Sir, the stage is yours.
Good afternoon, everyone. Bring you warm wishes from Belagavi. As suggested, I have been asked to talk on urinary stone disease. So here you will see that first word is urolithiasis. This word is a medical word. Uro means urinary tract, lith in Greek means stone, and diasis means disease. So in common word, it is urinary stone disease. I'm sure everybody must have heard of urinary stones. Either one of you all must be already suffering from one, or suffered from one, or you must be having either a family member or a nearby neighbor who's had urinary stones. Now, what does urinary stone disease mean? In simple words, it indicates the presence of stones or calcification in the urinary tract. Now, urinary tract consists of the kidney, where the urine is formed, the ureter, where the urine drains from the kidney to the bladder, the urine stores in the bladder, and from the urinary passage it goes up. So if there is any calculus of stone, commonly called as stone, or calcification, then we call it as urinary stone disease. Most of the stones, you can say 95% of the stones, are formed in the kidney. The stones are formed in the kidney, and some of them descend down, when we call it as ureteric colic or severe pain, and some of them rest in the bladder. Very rarely, you can say in children, primary stones are formed in the bladder. That is less than 5%. But 95% of the stones are formed in the kidneys. There could be several reasons for that. That is not very important, but what it is that stone is formed in the urinary tract. Now, why did I select this topic? Obviously, you must be wondering, as what's the reason for selecting such a topic? There are, in urology, we deal with so many diseases. Like what I've already said, it is a common disease. Everybody has heard about urinary stone disease. And when you see the prevalence of it, it is increasing. Year after year, we are seeing more and more patients having urinary stone disease. It is an important healthcare problem, not just in India. All over the world, it affects the health of several individuals, be it a child or an adult. It is said, now we do not have exact statistics in India, but whatever statistics are there, 1 out of 11 Americans suffer from kidney stone disease. As you can say, 10% of the population in United States suffers from kidney stone disease. And what's worrying is, this prevalence is increasing, and it has nearly doubled in the last 20 years. And this is further increasing. There could be several reasons for that. Maybe our lifestyle, eating food. Commonly we use a very high refined food we eat nowadays. And that could be contributing factors for the formation of urinary stone. The second reason why I chose is that urinary stone is a severely morbid condition. Patients suffer from pain. This pain can be in the back, in the loins, or further lower down in the abdomen. Severe pain. They say the people who have experienced this pain is worse than the pain which is associated with labor. Labor means delivery of a child. So very severe pain. Only a person who has experienced it will know the severity of pain. Apart from that, the patient can have vomiting, pain while passing urine. If the stone gets infected, then we can have fever and chills. Occasionally, a patient may complain that he is not able to pass urine because the stone is stuck in the bladder. And of course, it can cause complications like bleeding. So blood will come from the urinary tract and the patient has got red color urine. So it is a severely morbid condition. The prevalence is high, and secondly is the patient is severely morbid and has got severe symptoms because of it. It is said in the Western countries, emergency means whenever you have pain, what does one do? You go to a doctor. So in India, most commonly you go to your family doctor or a family physician or a doctor nearby you. Unlike in the Western countries, where the patients have to report to the emergency of a hospital. So these emergencies have increased. What was 178 in the year 1992 is 340 per 1 lakh population. So your visit to the emergencies increase because of the increasing prevalence of this disease. 10% of these emergency visits are for recurrent episodes. Once you form a stone does not mean, and if it is removed does not mean that's the end of the story. You can have recurrent episodes. Now unfortunately we do not have a permanent cure for stone disease. What we are treating is removing of the stone and making him symptomatically better. But the disease we are not treating because we do not know as of now the exact etiology or the cause for these stones. So what is the impact of this stone disease? If you see in the American side, it is roughly a 10 billion market. $10 billion are spent by the government or the insurance companies to treat this disease per year. In India, it not only affects our insurance and the government, but it also affects individually here, because majority of us pay from our pocket. We pay to the hospital from our own pocket. The lower group, that is below poverty line people, can be treated in a government hospital, and people who can afford, of course, go to the corporate sector. So it is a very expensive disease for the government. They keep on spending a lot of money so that these patients who are suffering from this kidney stone disease are made symptom-free. So for these three reasons, I chose this topic. One is the prevalence is high. Second, it is a source of severe symptoms. And lastly, it is an expensive disease. Now, lithogenesis, how does the stone operate? So all of you know in your subjects that whenever you keep on dissolving, putting sugar in a glass of water or say salt, it gets solution. It is a complex solution which has got inorganic elements like calcium, magnesium, sodium, chlorine, organic elements. They are like end products of DNA metabolism. There can be uric acid, urease. It can have cells like RBCs and WBC. It can have occasionally bacteria within it. So it's a complex solution. Now these minerals which I already told you, like calcium and phosphates, oxalates, get supersaturated at a lower level than that of water. So they can easily get supersaturated. So once the urine is supersaturated with that particular molecule, what happens? The crystal will come out of the urine. That is what we call it as nucleation. A nucleus is formed. Suddenly, a salt molecule like maybe calcium phosphate, calcium oxalate, uric acid, cysteine just comes out in the urinary tract as a nucleus. And over a period of time, this nucleus starts growing to form where there is aggregation of multiple molecules to form a stone. And if this stone does not get expelled out through the urinary tract, then it starts becoming bigger and becomes symptomatic. It starts bringing symptoms to the patient. So that's how a stone is formed in the urinary tract. These are the common types of stones when we say calcium stones. So it can be a calcium oxalate molecule or it can be a calcium phosphate. Very rarely it can be a calcium carbonate. Uric acid stones. Uric acid is an end product of nucleic acid metabolism. The DNA, RNA, The end product of this metabolism is uric acid. Now, uric acid in humans does not have further degradation. It is not further degradation. But it can pass through the urine, and the higher the pH value of urine, the higher the dissolving capacity of this uric acid. Then of course we can have Stewart calculus and system calculus. The most common ones are the calcium oxalate stones. It is said 75 to 80% of the stones belong to this category. The incidence of uric acid stones is on the rise because a lot of us are now substituting a regular old Indian diet to a non-vegetarian. So we did a study in Belagavi because we get patients from southern Maharashtra as well as Goa and North Karnataka. The incidence of uric acid stones is high among the Goan people. Nearly 40% of the stones were uric acid. Obviously, they eat meat for breakfast, lunch, dinner, all the time they keep on eating. So that is the reason why uric acid stones are more common among the Goans as compared to the rest. Now, what are the risk factors? Why do stones occur? You don't drink enough water. Now, if I have to ask any one of you all, obviously you will say 2-3 liters I drink per day. Everybody says that. But it is not true. Many of us drink just few glasses of water. We drink insufficient water because the more the water you drink, the more urine is produced. Eating a diet rich in salt, sugar or animal protein, especially young generation people who go to the gyms. I'm sure you must be knowing that you are consuming how much? At times I've heard that some of them consume 20 eggs per day. Protein powder, chicken, salads which contain chicken. So obviously you are increasing the animal protein load in your diet. So this also can lead to, or one eating such a diet is prone to develop urinary stones. Family history. I'm sure you must have heard of a disease called as gout. Gouty arthritis means pain of the joints. Now, if you do the serum uric acid levels, the uric acid levels are very high enough. Normally, we say about 7 mg/% is the normal serum uric acid level, but in these individuals, it can be 10 or more. So, in those people, they have a genetic problem where the uric acid does not get further degraded. That's why serum uric acid level rises, and they can be a cause for urinary stones as well as they may be responsible for the painful joints. Certain medical conditions or repeat infections. So you get repeated, especially in women, repeated urinary tract infections can lead to the pH of urine becoming, normally urine pH is acidic. But when you have infection with urea secreting organisms, the pH changes to alkaline. And when you have an alkaline urine, obviously these salts which are containing phosphates can get precipitated to form an infection stone, which is a triple phosphate stone, like calcium, magnesium, ammonium phosphate. So those stones can be formed. So these are the risk factors for formation of a stone. Now, how do we diagnose stones? When a patient comes with pain in the abdomen, pain in the loins, passing of red color urine and so forth, obviously we do a battery of investigations. Lucky for all the urologists is that the urinary tract is easily accessible by one of these imaging techniques. So what we commonly utilize here, you can see, is an ultrasound unit, ultrasonography. So when you image the kidney on the ultrasound, you can see these bright spots, what we call it as echogenic. Echo means obviously there is a reflection of the sound waves, and that's why they produce echogenic lesions on the ultrasound. This is a plain X-ray. Of course, you know that X-ray energy is utilized to image. The more the calcium present in the stone, the better is the density seen of the stones. So if you see stones in the area of the kidney like this, then obviously you know that we are dealing with urinary stone disease. And of course now we have got CT scan and other imaging technologies. And here on the CT scan you can see the right kidney here with a nice dense stone which is present in the renal pelvis. So this is how commonly we diagnose kidney stones. Now, a urologist has got several options in managing kidney stones. Now we have got what is conservative management or medical management. Now this is applicable to only those people who have got very small stones. Stones which are few millimeters, less than 5 mm in size. Then we put them on a high fluid intake, ask them to drink a lot of water. So how do you know that you are drinking adequate water? One of the simplest ways is to look at the color of your urine. If your urine is like water, that means you are taking adequate water. But if it is yellow or high colored, then obviously it means that you are not taking adequate amount of water. So we ask them to take a lot of water. If the patient has got pain, then we give them painkillers. And we give them drugs like alpha blockers, which will help in relaxing the ureter and the stone to pass. So this is a conservative management where patient has got stone which is 5 mm or less. A 5 mm stone has got 80 to 90% chance of passing naturally. Stone which is 8 mm, up to 8 mm in size, has got 25 to 30% chance of going by itself. And any stone bigger than 8 mm is unlikely to go. So there is no point in putting a fellow who's got a 10 mm stone or 11 mm stone on this conservative units. It's unlikely to go. Because our urinary tract, the diameter of the urethra is not so much that it can pass. But occasionally we have patients who have passed a 12 mm stone or even a bigger stone. But that is an occasional patient, a very rare entity. But commonly, 90% of the stones which are 5 mm or smaller pass off naturally. So we ask them to take a lot of water. Stones which are up to 8 mm, there is a 25 to 30% chance of going by itself. And stones bigger than 8 mm are unlikely. That's what you should do. Now, of course, the era of open surgery is gone. Very, very rarely we do an open surgery for removal of stones, which we used to do earlier, prior to, say, about 25 to 30 years back. But since then, a lot of technology has improved. So we have got non-invasive means by using shockwave lithotripsy. We have got minimally invasive procedures like ureteroscopy and percutaneous nephrorectomy. Now the first one here you can see is shockwave lithotripsy. It is purely a non-invasive because we are not invading this patient. Even we do not have to give them any form of anesthesia. So majority of these patients, the patient is lying here on a table where the kidney can be imaged by an ultrasound or a CR or what we call it as X-rays. And we have an energy generator which we call it as shock wave generator, which produces shock waves which can be directed towards the stone. And that's how we can break the stone. Earlier when this started, when this technology came about in 1990s, late 1990s, all the stones used to be treated by this. But of course we know that it has got its own shortcomings. It is not useful for all the type of stones. So now over the last 25 years we have realized stones bigger than 1.5 centimeters in size, stones with a density of more than 1000 Hounsfield units are not fit for this kind of thing. So Hounsfield is the one who developed the CT scan. So when we do a CT scan, and the unit which we see to measure the density is called as Hounsfield units. water is 0, bone is 1000. Okay, so 1000 units. If it is less than 1000 units, then this stone can be easily treated with this form of energy, what is called as extracorporeal shock. If the stones have got more than that density, then we need to use other means. So these are the two commonly used means. Intrarenal surgery. So we do the surgery in the kidney, but by passing our scopes retrograde. So we have got very flexible type of instruments which are long enough to be passed into the kidney, and we can visualize, we can see the stone clearly, and we use various types of energy to break the stone. Once we break the stone, it becomes powder, and we can grasp if there are small fragments which are 3 mm and many. So these are flexible instruments, and here is called PCNL, where a small puncture is made in the back under guidance of our imaging. We pass our rigid nephroscopes into the kidney and remove the stone. So similarly, the stone is fragmented and pieces are removed. So these are the definite means of treating urinary stones as of today. An occasional patient is picked up for Easter. Now you all should know, because this machine was developed purely because of your science, pure science of physics. It helped us develop what we call as extracorporeal, means it is outside the body. Shock wave lithotripsy. Shock means we use shock wave to break the stone. Litho means stone, again tripsy means break. So when we use this, so ESWL machine was generated in Germany at the Dornier Institute in between 1960s and 70s. The story I'll tell you later. It's a very interesting story. The effect of shock waves was on the human tissues was studied in 1966, and Keffer and Hostler were the first ones in 1971 to use this energy to break stones. So Dornier is an aircraft manufacturing company. It's not a medical equipment manufacturing company, but Dornier is an aircraft manufacturing company which produced airplanes for World War II for Germany. After Germany lost the war, the scientists who were in this institute later on started investigating as to why their planes had dents. When they were flying, they had dents, which they observed. When the flights returned back, they observed that they were having dents. So these scientists didn't just keep it quiet. The German scientists went into the details of this, and then they realized that when the plane flies at normal speed or subsonic speed, it generates energy, but which is not directed. When at Mach 1, at the speed of sound, then this becomes more focused. But this energy gets concentrated when it goes in supersonic speed. So they realized that at this speed, the energy was created around the plane, which they call it as a shock wave, because the shocks were given to which produced sound as well as dented the plane. So this was the energy, this was the investigation they did, and they found out. So obviously when any new energy is created in the world, the first application of that, whichever country it is can it be used in war? Defense. Everybody thinks of the first application for anything is, can it be used for destroying somebody else? And then second thought is, can we use it in the treatment of any human disease? So they went into the details as how to create these shock waves in a laboratory setting. So this is a shock wave generator, and these shock wave generators are of multiple types today. Earlier when they tried, it was with 2 electrodes. Now earlier, if you have realized that many of us have used scooters or motorcycles which used to have a spark plug, and whenever you kick, a spark used to come or energy would be generated. So similarly, the first one was with the 2 spark plugs, and energy was passed from one electrode to another electrode, and the energy which was generated is a shock wave energy. So the first few machines which were developed were because of the electrodes. Later on, of course, people wanted more safer, safety-related generators. Then we came out with electromagnetic and lastly piezoelectric. So these are different types of generators which all generate what we call it as shock wave energy. So this is a generator, and the properties of this shock wave is same as that of sound. It travels through a particular media without losing any energy. So if that media can be air or it can be water. So now our body is made up of 95% of water. So the density of skin, muscles, soft tissues in our body is the same as that of water. So they develop a water balloon here. So the generated shock waves would travel through this balloon, through the skin, through the kidney to be focused onto the stone. Now stone has got different density as compared to that of water. So when these shock waves collided with a different density, they release energy on the surface of that stone. So once the energy was released, obviously the stones fragmented. So you can see this wave, shock wave, is similar to that of water, sound waves. And when they are passed through a similar medium like that of water, and when they come in contact with that of stone, which has got a different density, then the energy is released off the surface of that so as to break the stone. So this here was one of the ways of treating stone. Today also we still use it. Stones which are less than 1.5 centimeter, situated in the renal pelvis, with a density which is less than that of 1000 ounce units. This is the treatment of choice. So this machine which was developed by an aircraft industry for medical purposes was based on your plane physics, nothing else. Now, as far as research in stone-related conditions, there are plenty of reasons. Even today, like what I've already told you, the exact cause of the urinary stone is not known. Why do they form? We do not know. How do we need to treat each particular type of stone? We still are. These things are not answered yet. So there can be further lot of areas where we can look into new research areas. Obviously, multidisciplinary approaches where a number of clinical as well as non-clinical people could be utilizing this and develop into research. For this reason alone, I contacted Dr. Sangode regarding to see the scanning electron microscopic pictures of that of a stone and see how we can treat these stones better. Now, stone is not a uniform, like what we say, a uniform dense material. It has got cracks, it has got crevices, it has got spikes through which energy could be passed into the stone. Similarly, there is a difference between a stone which is infected and a non-infected stone. So I'm sure in future many of y'all would be working on this type of theories or research questions and see if you can find an answer. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, I will be happy to answer.
Thank you so much, Dr. Nerli sir, for such an डिटेल्ड अँड हायली प्रॅक्टिकल ॲड्रेस आरोग्याबद्दलच्या बऱ्याच शंका आज दूर झाल्या. We will now open the floor for question and answer session. If anyone has questions, please raise your hand.
Yes.
So, thank you for your next talk. Couple of questions from physics point of view. See, as far as network is concerned, it produces shock waves. But does it vary from age to age? Because this question has origin because your organs they slowly deteriorate. No? So strength of the organ also goes down. So if patient is aged one, can it be advisable to have a lithotripsy that shock waves to break the stone?
Okay. See, this is one of the safest energies which has been found. Over the period of time now, since this energy, the first human experiment was done in 1981. And now it is more than 40 years that this energy has been used. This energy, like what I told you, passes through soft tissues like kidney without any problem to the kidneys. So energy is released only on the surface of the stones and it disintegrates the stones. But we have to be wise enough to choose the right size of the stone and the right Hounsfield units of the stone. So like what I told you, over a period of time we have realized today that the best stone to treat with the ESWL is a 1.5 centimeter stone which has got Hounsfield units of less than 1000 and situated in the radial surface. So this would be the only way you need to with some other form of energy.
And the second question is, if you break the stone that forms a powder and you just let it to flush through the renal system,
Yes.
then it may actually provide many seeds to recrystallize the environment.
No, recrystallization doesn't occur, but these stones, like what you said, they become powder, and this occasionally your powder may get stuck with the epithelium.
Oh.
And they may form a nidus for a new stone. That's what you have told. Yes, it is theoretically possible, but these stones go because of the amount of water we drink. The urine flush is there. It is like flushing your bathroom or a toilet. That's way how the urine comes out from your ureter, and the small particles get washed out easily. So that's the basis of that. Lithotripsy is the same, that we break the stone and the powder comes out through your urinary passages.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, what is typical frequency of shock wave? Typical frequency of a shock wave, because it's a wave.
Yeah, now this we normally give up to 2000 per sitting, 2000 shocks per sitting. So sometimes some people may require a little bit more. So in that cases, of course, it is given in 2 different sessions. So the time duration between 2 sessions is roughly 21 days. We wait for 21 days for the recovery of the kidney parameters and then give the second session. So normally a stone about 1.5 centimeter. Most of the times it is broken in 1 session, but occasionally a patient who has got a little, maybe a denser stone or something like that way, may require 2 sessions. So 2000 frequencies, in terms of joules, it is roughly about 6 joules. That's what they calculated, total joules, or the energy which is given to these patients.
In kidney, they act as a foreign body.
Yes.
So whether they affect kidney function?
Yes, yes. Kidney stones, that's why don't go and be relaxed of the diagnosis of kidney stone. Any stone is problematic in the kidney, and every day that the stone is sitting in the kidney, some of the nephrons keep on dying. So it affects the nephrons or the number of functioning units in the kidney, and if left alone, it may even cause renal failure of that particular site.
Thank you, sir.
So I have just 2 small questions.
Yes.
One is that what is the average of men and women, this USD disease, average ratio with men and women?
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Means, that's like incidence is roughly about 6% in females and 10 up to 10% prevalence wise. It is nearly double of that of females. Males means it's more common in males, obviously, because you can see that males may be exposed to hard work or something like that way, or they are mere. But this ratio is going down. So practically women are also now having incidences in some countries similar to that of the males.
And in the back side, the pinot, from the back. So what the chances of the other collateral damages?
No, we approach the kidney from behind because there is no organ which is behind the kidney.
Okay.
Whereas in front we have got the intestines, liver, spleen and other things. Whereas posteriorly it is only the muscle between the muscle and skin between our instrument and that of the kidney. So that's why kidney is a posteriorly located organ, and that's why we can easily puncture it without having any collateral damages.
So the last one is that what's your prescription for eggs per day?
What?
Because I take 4 or 5
How
eggs
much
per
egg
day.
should we intake per
No, there's nothing like that. Each one's there's a lot of individual variation. Now, what you eat 4 per day may be too much for a person who's eating even 1 per day. So it's not like that way. You need to eat as much proteins as your age permits or your work permits. So egg is a very good form of protein replacement. Egg white is similar to that of a human albumin.
Yeah.
So it practically replaces the human albumin. And what is said is that for a normal individual, 20 grams of class 1 proteins and egg albumin per week is sufficient. Class 1 proteins.
Per week.
Per week, 20 grams.
But per eggs gives me 6 grams.
Yeah, that's right. About 2 or 3 eggs per week is right. But in patients who have got nutritional deficiency, they can have more.
Thank you so much.
Sir, I had a question. Depending upon the type of water we are drinking, means if it is a hard water coming from wells or bore wells, does that factor affect on the frequency of the
No, it depends on the quality of your water. If your water contains more salts, then obviously there is a chance that you may develop stones. But if it is, even if in bore waters, many times they are good waters with less mineral content, then of course this water is sufficient or good enough to drink.
in case of my water, if that is more hard, contains many minerals, what precaution I can take? So
The best is to avoid because what you are drinking, consuming is a non-palatable type of water. It's not worth. It would be good enough for maybe agriculture, washing and other things, but it is definitely not palatable.
I ask this question because in India, getting clean and safe water is really an issue. In rural parts, of course.
No, unlikely I'm saying. Well water is quite good enough. Well river waters are very good enough. All they need is just little care. You need to clean that water, but otherwise well water and your river water is very good enough.
I have a question similar to him. So nowadays there is an increasing consumption of energy drinks. So what are the major effects or major disadvantages while taking energy drinks, and what is the limited amount of energy drink we should take?
Yeah, this one needs to take under proper guidance, this energy drinks and energy food which we are all having. Consult the proper dietitian, not your gym trainer. Your gym trainer may not be advising you the right amount. He may be advising you regarding calorie value.
Yeah.
But the quality of food, best is to consult the dietitian.
Instead of salts, in summer we consume salt in cold drinks, even our sherbet and all that. So that kind of salt does it affect on this?
Even sodium chloride?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Eating salt.
Yeah. See, sodium chloride is in a proportion which is within normal range. That is good enough. But when you eat too much of salt, then obviously it causes some amount of dehydration. Because you should remember that kidney reabsorbs sodium chloride in exchange for water. So to prevent that loss of sodium, it keeps on absorbing it more. So, and first that is one, and secondly, it of course it also helps in the precipitation of other salts. So salt within normal range is acceptable. Don't add too much of salt to your salad. Too much of pickles eating is not healthy.
So if I'm right, the cold drinks for having a lot of phosphate, right?
The carbonates, they are having a lot of carbonic acid.
Okay.
Carbonates, yes.
Sir, we study in physics the crystal growth in from solution. The idea is to, as you mentioned in one of your slides, when the solution is supersaturated, then it starts, nucleation starts, and then whether these stones are single crystals? Single crystals?
No, initially they may be single crystal. When initially, like say, you have eaten too much of non-vegetarian diet, and then you have uric acid crystals which nucleate out. Over a period of time, there may be other crystals gathering on it, like a calcium oxalate or calcium phosphate. So initially, to start with, they are single mu, but later on they become a compound or say complex type of stone. So many of the stones, when you send them for analysis, they are not pure stones of one component only, like uric acid, but they are a mixed component. But what is most common is that calcium oxalate forms nearly 75 to 80% of that.
Why I am asking? Because single crystal is the smooth material. If we make it defective, it becomes hard. So it is very difficult to crash or.
Yeah.
There are
Yeah, that's what I told you initially only, that urine is a complex solution. It has got various components, organic, inorganic, cellular, and non-cellular components, which all can affect the formation of the stones or the composition of the stones.
Thank you, sir.
From the girls' side, no questions.
Thank you everyone for your active participation, and thank you Dr. Nerli sir for addressing those questions so thoroughly.
Thank you, sir.
नेतृत्व आणि मार्गदर्शन या दोन्ही गोष्टी एकाच वेळी असल्या की कार्यक्रम नक्कीच यशस्वी होतो. Proceeding further, I would now like to request President of today's function, Professor Dr. R.G. Sankode sir, to deliver his presidential remarks. Sir, please.
On the dais, today's chief guest and speaker, Professor Rajendra Nerli ji, Sri Arun Aradhya ji. Dear students, you all might have witnessed the philanthropic approach of Arun Aradhya ji for the university, for this department. And he has become an integral part of Shivaji University as well as Department of Physics. Of the dais, my faculty members, research scholars, students, non-teaching faculty members, non-teaching members. Let me say, when I will choose speakers, it was of use to the society, to the students, and to the faculty members. Professor Nerli ji, when he approached me, he would like to do some of the analysis on the kidney stone. I said, sir, please do come, we'll do it. We will not charge anything to you this time, we will do it free of cost. And while exchanging talk with him, I requested him, can you deliver one lecture to my fellow colleagues, research scholars and students and others.
And you have witnessed through his lecture what kind of exposure he is having, what kind of knowledge he is having about kidney stone. And I am sufferer of the kidney stone. I used to take a lot of treatment for kidney stone, and this is very common nowadays. Kidney stone has become very common. The way he presented all the aspects of physics and kidney stone, how the invention starts. This is the motto. I want to bring the renowned faculties, renowned persons in their field. So Arun Aradhyaji was telling, apart from study, you have to look at for the opportunities, you have to think positively and create your inventions. Professor Nerli mentioned that this was invented by physics. And today I must say over here, we are supporting Menon Bearings. Menon Bearings Limited is a listed company. Dear students, you must check it. To have listed companies and the Department of Physics is providing consultation to them, it's not a joke. Even I have worked in the capital of India, Delhi, but such kind of listed companies, they used to go to IITs, but not to my center. But here, State University and Department of Physics, the listed company has approached for the consultation. This is a great achievement for the Department of Physics and the Faculty of Physics as well as students. Sri Aradhyaji has mentioned some of the aspects, particularly about AI. The university has taken a lot of steps, and the new Vice Chancellor has initiated many programs and AIs. Several aspects Arun Aradhyaji has covered, what we will be bringing. And one beautiful aspect, even I also always used to speak about 7 C's of communication. Really, we all must master on 7 C's. As well as he mentioned about the ethical values, and every lecture I used to mention about the ethical values. These are the very, very important aspects. Without taking further time, I must say there are certain good news also. Immediately, Professor Rajendra Nerli, he had requested to have a MOU with Shivaji University and Department of Physics for his further analysis. And there will be the announcement from the Vice Chancellor of this university. Jilla Parishad is going to have MOU with Shivaji University and Department of Physics. And we are not going to leave Sri Arun Aradhyaji because he is very instrumental to complete all these tasks. His commitment to help to the society, we are always going to explore to a large extent. Our journey is not so easy, but such kind of persons like Professor Rajendra Nerli, Arun Aradhyaji, my faculty members, enthusiastically they come with me, whatever problems we are facing, and my faculty members very voluntarily, very enthusiastic, they came and they were trying to solve the problems. And this is perhaps in the history of this department, first time, I am quoting, first time listed industry is approached to the Department of Physics. But don't forget, all these things is happening with a charitable trust, which is Nim Karoli Baba Charitable Trust. As the name says, Nim Karoli Baba Charitable Trust, and you can observe it, you can just Google it, how many of them are followers for that. It is, the quote is there, love all, serve all, feed all. And please take this message, love all, serve all, and feed all. Thank you and wish you good luck.
Thank you, Professor Sonkode sir, for your inspiring word and highly thoughtfully presidential remark. As we reach the conclusion of this highly informative session, it is the time for Abhar Pradarshan. किसी ने क्या खूब कहा है, शुक्रिया उन तमाम लोगों का, शुक्रिया उन तमाम लोगों का जिन्होंने इस महफिल को सजाया है, अपने कीमती वक्त से इन लम्हों को यादगार बनाया है, इन लम्हों को यादगार बनाया है। I now invite Dr. M.V. Takare sir to formally express our gratitude and deliver the vote of thanks.
नमस्कार. भौतिकशास्त्र आदी विभाग शिवाजी विद्यापीठ कोल्हापूर आणि नीमकरोली ट्रस्ट यांच्या संयुक्त विद्यमाने आयोजित या कार्यक्रमामध्ये आपल्याला जे प्रमुख वक्ते लाभले ते माननीय डॉक्टर राजेंद्र नेरली सर, त्याचबरोबर त्यांचे आलेले सहकारी आपल्या ऑडियन्समध्ये बसलेले आहेत ते डॉक्टर नीरज, त्याचबरोबर माननीय अरुण आराधे मेनन डेअरीचे मॅनेजिंग डायरेक्टर या ठिकाणी उपस्थित राहिले. या दोन प्रमुख व्यक्तींच्या सहवासामध्ये आपल्याला जे काय प्रबोधन झालेलं आहे त्याबद्दल विभागातर्फे आणि नीमकरोली विभाग ट्रस्टतर्फे आम्ही व्यक्तिशः त्यांचे आभार मानतो. त्याचबरोबर अशा प्रकारच्या संकल्पनांची नियोजन करून विद्यार्थ्यांकरता अशा प्रकारच्या सुविधा किंवा व्याख्यान उपलब्ध करून दिल्याबद्दल ते तर आपले विभाग प्रमुख आहेतच, त्याचबरोबर ते आपले नीमकरोली विभाग ट्रस्टचे अध्यक्षही आहेत. या दोन्ही भूमिकेतून विभागातर्फे मी खास त्यांचे आभार मानतो. त्याचबरोबर तुम्ही अल्पकाळ संख्येनं उपस्थित राहिल्याबद्दल तुमचे जोरदार आभार मानायला हे जे दोन अँकर आहेत माझे सहकारी सिनियर टेक्निकल तंत्र सहाय्याबद्दल डॉक्टर सत्यजित आणि त्यांचे सहकारी आणि शिक्षक कर्मचाऱ्यांचे मी पुनश्च आभार मानून कार्यक्रमाची सांगता झाली असं जाहीर करतो. थँक्यू.
Thank you, Dr. Takare sir, and a big thank you to all our